It's still happy hour with John Gaskins. This round's on me.
He's back. He's with us for the first time since, Media Day in August. I wasn't there, so it's my first conversation since April 30th with Quinten Christensen, All-American and All-Valley lineman for the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. And what do we have, one more year? Is it one more year you have of eligibility?
Yep, correct.
Here we go. Joining us from the offensive line room at SDSU, and we're thrilled to have you. You mentioned that was the last place you were the last time we chatted. How much time do you spend in that room year round?
Oh, well, I can't think of a number off the top of my head. I mean, this time of year we have, we're getting back into it. So we have meetings and stuff, and then a couple guys will come in here and buzz some film when every once in a while or when we're bored. But I mean, not here all day, but most of the mornings, I'd say. Because we try and get everything off in the morning before class and stuff. So
okay, are you an early riser?
Yeah. I don't sleep a whole lot, anyways. I don't know why that is, but I don't mind getting up early.
Did you have to be an early riser on the ranch?
Yeah, a lot of early mornings. My dad always had coffee made for us, so
that's good.
Started drinking that when I was young.
That's a rhetorical question. I've known plenty of people who've worked on farms and ranches before. Like, how early? What was the average? Just growing up as a kid, normal wake up time.
I don't know. I don't think it was uncommon for 5-6 o'clock.
Okay.
You know?
And chores right away.
Yeah. We'd usually drink some coffee and then maybe crack a few eggs, and then my dad just tell us what to do, or we already knew what we needed to do because we talked about it the night before and went and done it. Scoop bunks, start feeding cattle.
Right on.
Started it off.
I started getting into coffee maybe early adulthood, maybe in college. I still know grown people who don't like it, who don't do it. They still will drink Pepsi or Mountain Dew to get their caffeine fix, to get their day going. I love it, but it just kind of sounds like for you, I mean, that's not something most kids get into. That I know. But it sounds like it was just kind of your dad got you started, because it's a little wake up, a little perk.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how it was when I grew up. So I didn't think anything else. My youngest brother, he actually probably started drinking it even earlier than I was. I remember him drinking coffee and he was like 8 years old, but he's a little different breed. So
is he the one that was the center for Wessington Springs this year?
Yeah, he played center a little bit.
How'd that go?
Oh, I thought he did pretty good. I mean, he's not near as big as me or athletically gifted, but he works his butt off, and he's always eager to improve and get better. So I'm always on the phone with him a bunch and keep in touch quite a bit that way.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I got 2 younger brothers.
Okay. 2 younger brothers. And I'm going to guess, I mean, do they come to every game?
Youngest one, he's still in high school. He likes to make the games when he can. My middle brother, he goes to the lake area for diesel mechanics, and he's either doing that or he's working at the sale barn, so he doesn't make it to many games. He never really got into sports, which we're all a little bit different, and that's admirable. I mean, I like it'd be boring if everybody was into the same thing. So, but
sure.
He doesn't make it to near as many.
So, was your dad, your mom, generations before that? I mean, was this more of just we're cattle ranchers and not into sports, or do you have some athletes in the family?
Well, my dad's 2 uncles, they were big basketball players. I think that's probably where I got my height. I think Dean is 6'9" and Bruce is 6'7". My dad played football, wrestled a little bit. He always tells me he wasn't ever big into sports, he's always a hired hand or working at the sale barn, or he grew up working quite a bit uh, in the egg industry, and then my mom grew up. Uh, I mean, people think I grew up in the middle of nowhere. She takes it to another level. She kind of grew up in the middle of Miller, Wessington Springs, and Fort Thompson, all 30 miles from civilization. She grew up on a ranch. She actually went to country school, so till she got to high school. But she was actually a pretty good gymnast in high school and did powerlifting too. But
Okay. All right. So yes, there's some athleticism and some strength in the family for sure. Have you learned more? This is it's kind of a broad question, but have you learned more about sports and being successful at athletics from your mom or your dad or both?
oh, I think I wouldn't necessarily say from the athletic side, but one thing that they've taught me growing up, and it correlates directly with the ranch, is just kind of bringing that blue collar mentality everywhere with you. No one's gonna outwork you, whether someone may be more gifted than you at something, but no, you're never gonna quit. No one's gonna outwork you. So I've always kind of carried that with me, and that's something they've definitely taught me. And then obviously, I've met a lot of great people along the way that have offered a lot of their time. My mom's brothers, they'd be my uncles. They got me into the wrestling deal at a young age, and specifically her youngest sibling, Rodney. He invested a lot of time in wrestling, and that's kind of where I grew a niche for it. And then Adam Hockey was my high school wrestling coach, and then I've had all sorts of coaches, family, friends. There's a lot of people that have invested time into me that they didn't have to, and that's helped me grow as a person and a athlete throughout my career.
By the way, mom as a gymnast and power lifter, I mean, most people don't mess with their mom, but that takes it to a whole other level. Did that strike the fear in you a little bit?
Oh yeah, I mean she's a tough gal. She's a saint for sure, but she's got a little mean streak to her. You don't want to make her mad. I wouldn't have never known about it, but I remember going through some boxes downstairs and I found a state powerlifting sixth place in, it must have been 95 pounds or 100 pounds or something. And I asked her about it. She goes, "Yeah, I was in the men's powerlifting but she was a girl because they didn't have a girls division then, and she just did it because she enjoyed it and it helped with gymnastics." So that's how I found out about that. But yeah, you don't want to mess with her too much.
How did those two meet, your mom and your dad?
I believe it was after college, and my mom was just finishing up, and my dad was in his mid-20s, and I think they met at a wedding dance. But
Okay.
they'd known of each other. My dad used to deliver feed out to their place with his dad at a young age. So like he knew of the family, but they were 2-3 years apart, so they never like
Yeah.
probably spoke or much, but they knew of each other.
Yeah, obviously, you growing up on a ranch is well documented. The wrestling, and you've mentioned how you didn't yourself. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lift a lot of traditional weights in high
No.
school because you were wrestling or steering or whatever. What 300 or 400 pound calves, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Excuse me.
no problem.
Weston Springs done a great job in the last few years. They just put up a rec center and a weight room, so definitely got the weight program going. But when I was there, that's not really something we did, and there wasn't a ton of people that there were to teach us to lift weights. And I mean, it's not a knock on the athletic people involved in athletics at all, because most of the kids that around Springs or that play sports are ranch kids. So it was either can I go lift weights or go work, and most people's parents told them to get home and work after whether it's practice or something. So a lot of us would go back home to ranches or each other's ranches and help fix fence, put up fence, had some custom ranch crews where we'd go work people's cattle, help with branding, dragging calves, all sorts of stuff. So never really got into lifting the iron, I guess, but we were at least doing something. So.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up a city kid in Omaha, so I mean, chances are you're gonna get introduced to if you want to get strong and lift weights, it's the traditional get in the gym and lift the weights. But I've known plenty of people from rural areas where obviously you just kind of described it. You don't really need to. Plus, I mean, I have friends who have worked in construction or farming a lot of their lives, and they're in really good shape. They're strong. They have muscles, and they actually find going to the gym and lifting weights, which is so common to a lot of city people, a lot of college athletes, as boring. Just because did you see it that way once you got to SDSU and now you're doing the traditional thing?
It was very intriguing to me, and I was just trying to soak up as much knowledge as I could, because to be honest with you, I didn't know anything about it, putting a bar on my back or bench pressing or power cleaning, any of that. So that was just very intriguing to me, and I just wanted to learn as much as I could. But I do think they're two different types of strength. I do think working cattle, flanking calves, and wrestling are a different type of strength, and they kind of go hand in hand. That's more, I think, leverage based, and it's pretty hard to power clean 400 pounds, but I've seen a lot of big cats that could lift a ton of weights, and you go to a branding and they wouldn't know the first thing about flanking a 400-pound calf. But I know some cowboys that are 140 pounds dripping wet, and I guess you could say there's a technique to it, but it's just a different type of strength,
Yeah, I know. It's like moving couches. I mean, I just moved and had to, help move couches up and down stairs, big heavy couches, and I'm like, I do lift every now and then. Why is this? It's a different kind of lifting, that is. And what do you think has helped you more with the football, with your football strength or your football leverage, which is part of obviously being an offensive lineman, the farm stuff or the weight room?
Well, I think both.
Okay.
My background growing up on the ranch and then wrestling obviously has helped me with my work ethic and just my ability to try and just bring that lunch pail mentality everywhere with me. I think wrestling helps with bending and mobility in situations, and then just a lot of leverage, because in wrestling you do get in a lot of weird positions, but getting here and getting developed in the weight room at an early age in my career, and then now transitioning from Jacobs to Morris with the strength staff, it's definitely paying dividends. Like, I've seen a lot of improvements, and it was kind of that threshold once I got past that 285 pound range and started growing from there. That's when I really started seeing some jumps in the weight room. And then once I got on the field, then I was able to do stuff, and you can just actually feel the strength when you're going against a guy who wants that goes. So I don't think one or the other was more important or did more, but I think they've both been very beneficial to my play as an offensive lineman here.
Yeah. So Wessington Springs population, I guess it says anywhere between 650 to 811, somewhere in there, I guess.
I'm gonna give us 900.
Okay, you're going up there. Now, first, again, you grew up in a ridge. How far was it from Wessington Springs and the high school?
Oh, it was about a 15-minute drive northwest of town. So everyone thinks that's a long ways away, but I always thought we were a lot better off than some kids. I got some cousins and relatives that drive 30, 40 miles. So
yeah. How do I ask this? Since you've become a Jackrabbit and a prominent SDSU football player the last couple of years, what's it like to go back to Wessington Springs, to the high school? Are you a celebrity in the town? Do you feel any sort of, not burden, but responsibility to represent it? What's it like to be Quinten Christensen in Wessington Springs?
Oh, I wouldn't say a burden, a big thing for me is just because I'm doing this stuff and maybe my name's in a few more articles than some guy or kid from Springs. I don't change. I don't change, and I don't view myself or them guys any differently than me. I go back and I'm the same guy. I got a lot of friends and people that I keep up with, and I just go back and I'm the same person every day, and it's refreshing to be able to go back home and I will say them guys don't view me any differently either. They know I'm the same kid, same guy that grew up on a ranch, hung out with the guys, we went hunting, fishing, all that stuff. So I wouldn't say it's a burden at all. It is obviously it's something cool that I've got to do, and it was a great opportunity for me. But to be able to go back and just kind of go back to ground zero and or hang out with the same people that I grew up with is really awesome.
Do you, for kids, do you feel like the role model thing for the kids to look up to you and all that?
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I think it's you can embrace that, and that's what I've tried to do is just helping some of them younger kids along realize like it is a possibility to go play college ball out of Wessington Springs. There's not a lot of young kids that are either able to do that or ever thought that was a possibility, and I never did either. But I just like to tell them guys like you work your butt off and you do everything the right way. Opportunity like this isn't out of the realm or possibility to reach. So just chase your dreams is kind of what I always try and stress to them kids.
From Wessington Springs, what's the big city like on a given day? Any time of the year, if you need to go into town to get more supplies than you can get from whatever's available in Wessington Springs, what's the big city to you guys there?
Well, you got the gas station in town. That's the humdinger. That's kind of where most of the old guys drink coffee. And if you need to stop and get a pop or grab something to eat, that's where you go. Springs Inn and Sweetgrass are kind of your sit-down restaurants. Those are really good. A lot of the kids like to go to the Springs Inn over lunch hour. And Carla Niemeyer, she does a great job. She'll put out buffets for the kids, and that was always kind of a treat. Like once a week, we're gonna sneak out of school and sneak out of school lunch, and we're gonna go wreck that buffet that Carla made for us. But that was always good. And I don't know, you got Amcoda, that's kind of the farm supply place in town. There's a Tim Holsworth, he used to run a fencing supply place in town, and now Aaron Cashman runs that, and that's kind of a hot spot too, because like I said, most of the area is driven by agriculture. Then you got the elevator and wheat growers and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's kind of
yeah. I appreciate that. That's good to know because I love I love driving through small towns and discovering what is there. I lived in Lenox for the last 10 years. That's a big one, 2,200.
Yep.
2 gas stations, buddy. Dollar General and a couple bars. How many bars in Wessington Springs?
Just one right now.
Okay.
I guess you got the bowling alley too,
Okay.
and the golf course, but I think those are more seasonal places. But there's one on Main Street, and the Legion just closed down a couple years back, and that was kind of a well-versed place. Like people host stuff there. They do some raffles, gun raffles, stuff like that. But there's places to go, hang out.
Yeah. What I meant by things to do is like if you were going to go to a bigger quote unquote city, would it be? I see that Chamberlain's an hour away, Huron's 42 minutes away, Mitchell's almost an hour away. Like, did people and kids go to those towns a lot? Just like, hey, let's go into a city today.
I'd hate to knock the big city life, but we had everyone thinks these small towns there's nothing to do, but that also means there's everything to do. So in my opinion, we had all the land and 30 miles all to us to hang out and drive all over the country. So we did a lot of hunting, did a lot of fishing. And I'm not gonna lie, we didn't go town to town really. A lot of the stuff we did was right around our area or ranches. I will say the hangar in Huron Thursday nights used to have all you can eat crab legs for like $20. Me, my cousin, and a couple other buddies is usually we'd pile about 5, 6 in a pickup. We'd drive up there Thursday nights, and let's just say they upped the prices and they had to cut us off a few times. A lot of farm kids eating crab legs. You're gonna do everything you could do to stay there and get your $20 worth. So
Did the price hike deter you from continuing to go?
yeah, once we got over that 30 range, we quit going. But we got our fill for about a year, I'd say.
Got to take advantage. By the way, SDSU. I mean, it's the ag school, right? So there's farm kids, small town kids from all over the place on the campus. But in the football program, there's some of you. But
Yep.
was the football program being a lot more, diverse? Was it a big culture shock? I mean, because it sounds like you've been roommates with and have taken guys who are the furthest thing from farm kids back to the farm, and to me, I get the impression you've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's been a great learning experience for me. I would say initially it was a bit of a culture shock. I wouldn't say necessarily the guys with different backgrounds on the team, but more just 20,000 people in a city. I mean, that was crazy to me. I'd never seen that many people in my life, but there's a lot of guys on the team I was able to relate to early on that had grew up in small towns and been involved in the ag industry, but it's also been really cool to meet people from different backgrounds like Chicago, Florida, California, other places, and we've just been able to go back and forth and learn about each other and learn each other's whys, and that's been really important and instrumental in our growth as football players and people. And I will say I do enjoy taking the guys back to the ranch because it'd just be like me going to the ocean. I've never seen the ocean. I've never seen the beaches in California or whatnot. But for me to take them back to the ranch and go see cows and drive them around on four-wheelers and throw them on a couple horses and slap them in the butt and get them going on it, I mean, it works both ways, So I think it's just good.
Who are some of these guys? It was Julius Lawfridge. Was he one of them that you took back?
Yep. Yeah, we had a senior trip in Kennebec, and on the way we went back and moved cattle. I took Julius, Nate Adams, and gosh, I can't remember who else. Oh, Sam Hagan, but he's a farm kid, so that wasn't the first time he'd been out there.
Sure, but the non-farm kids again. I'm sure you're excited to one day to see the beach. It's awesome. But what about them seeing that? I mean, did they have fun? Was it a whole new world for them?
Oh yeah, they. I think when I talked,
aha moments for them. What's a good story from that?
Well, when I talked to them guys, they'd never seen that many gravel roads, and they'd never seen that much land without people on it, and I just tell them that's the best part about this.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
I thought you were going to keep going. Sorry.
Cows, land, no people. I think that's usually the most surprising thing to them.
Yeah, probably kind of weird. I mean, I remember taking some Chinese foreign exchange students out to Pactola, Lake Pactola, out there in the Black Hills.
Okay.
And they're used to being on the beach in the ocean in China, where there's just thousands of people at the beach, and all the time, to the point where when you walk up to the beach, people are blocking your view of the ocean. There's so many people. So to them, it was just amazing. This tiny lake. It's a big lake, but it's tiny to them. And no, it was just a novelty for them. There's hardly any people here. They're just not used to that. It's a pretty freeing feeling. So, and your roommate situation, again, some people just expect offensive linemen to room with offensive linemen or defensive linemen, and you've had a couple defensive backs right now and a couple new guys, right?
Yep. I just moved out of my place. That's always been O lineman and D lineman that I've lived with there, and then just moved into a new apartment and a couple transfer guys. Paul Kim, he's from Wisconsin Whitewater, and then Noah Luganbill came from JUCO in California. So it's been good. Been good to hear their stories and meet them and kind of hear about different perspectives on stuff.
So how did that happen, though? How did you get kind of paired up with those guys?
Well, I'd found a place that I was going to move into, and I just texted Coach Jackson and Tyler Rice, our GM. I said, moving in the new place, I need two roommates. Find me a couple good guys. So I trusted them with that.
Well, and I talked to Dan yesterday about some of these new guys, particularly the ones coming in from the portal, and those are two guys, obviously, that he is excited to see. And the Jacks fans are always interested. Everybody's interested in new guys. Tell us about them. So what can you tell us about Paul and Noah? As people, I probably haven't seen them as football players up close, obviously.
Yeah, so Paul's a corner. He's from Wisconsin Whitewater, played there for two years, and he grew up in Wisconsin, but his parents live back in Korea still, but he was born here, and then I think they moved back there once he'd been established in Wisconsin for a while. So he's really excited for making the jump, and he seems like kind of a no BS guy. Works hard, and he's really intrigued to learn. And then Noah Luganbill, he played at JUCO for 2 years in Cali, and I think he had some bigger offers to go and some options. And he told me he just wanted to develop here, and he wanted a chance to play and make an impact. And he really was excited about the culture and what we had going here. And not to knock the FBS or the G5 system, but he wanted to win. He wanted to go play in the playoffs and fight for a championship versus a bowl game. I think that intrigue helped him come here too.
Sure. I know there's one player. Gosh, I don't think it was Luganbill, but there's another one that Dan has mentioned that contacted SDSU, not the other way around. Just looking is a player who had been recruited to Colorado by Deion Sanders, eventually went to Cal Poly, one other place, and just wanted to come somewhere, just like you said, with the culture, with the structure, something a little more special, a chance to win a championship. And I would guess that you, going back to Noah, who had bigger offers, but had a purpose to go here, that you guys could, I'm sure you could share a little bit of your own experience. You haven't been somewhere else, but you've had the opportunity to go somewhere else. And I'm sure that was an easy thing for you guys to kind of immediately bond about. Or have you talked about that together?
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit. Obviously I named Noah there, but everybody hears about some of the bigger names, but there's been 12, 13, 14 guys on our team that have been, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, contacted or had opportunities to go somewhere else. And, I will say we're just all committed to each other and to something bigger than ourselves. And I think when we're together on something and we're committed to a program that's given us an opportunity, since a lot of us came here initially as freshmen, you got to value that more than the financial gain. I can speak for a lot. I think I'll speak for a lot of them guys and myself included. Like, I value my reputation and my word a lot more than just a couple dollar signs, because we've all discussed it with each other. But if you put all your value and stock into money, I mean, I don't know how it's going to be 10, 20 years down the road, but you're probably living a pretty miserable life, So, valuing something more important and just bigger than yourself and a couple dollars, I think goes a long ways. And I just building connections and being able to grow friendships and relationships with people that are going to last and um, impact you down the road. I think it's really important.
Sure. And you're obviously addressing the fact that you had some big opportunities. I mean, I want to just like how do you mind explaining like how many different big schools came after you and how and when did that start happening and how, well, I guess I'll go one question at a time. I'll start with those two. I mean, like how much have you been bombarded the last, whatever, year plus?
Well, I'm not going to get into the weeds of it, but I think it's just becoming more common with guys at the FCS level that have proven they can start and play. There's a lot of guys that get hit up through the year, and then in the playoffs. Personally, I've probably dealt with it a little over a year now, but it's just I think it's just the evolving way of college football now. I nothing surprises me anymore. So I there's been multiple opportunities for me and then for a bunch of other guys as well, but I think we're rooted to something bigger, and then this place people from the outside think, yeah, that's a lot of money, but you gotta, like I said, you gotta root yourself to something deeper and bigger than just money. And just it's the opportunity I got out of high school, and I want to give everything I can to this place possible. So,
Yeah. I mean,
that's kind of
you sound pretty firm in the answer, but you know that a lot of people, you mentioned it, are just, I mean, the responses, on social media, like, I don't know how, first of all, some people can't believe that you would get offered that much and turn it down because very few people would. It seems like obviously life-changing money. You've mentioned why that there are more important things than money, but how close, I mean, how much did you even, it would be human to at least consider it, that maybe you might still have great relationships and things more important than money at somewhere else, and also would get a financial benefit and also a chance to play at a quote unquote higher level before you get potentially to the NFL. So was there any part of you that harbored consideration for that?
well. I think when you first hear a number, it's probably just surprising, and it's you got you don't want to make any rash decisions. So assessing it and sleeping on it after a day. And I think a big thing that's been good for us is when something happens like that, or you get an opportunity to take an offer like that, we communicate with each other, and we communicate with Coach Jackson, and just giving that some time to really sit. And then when you talk about your goals and your values with your teammates and your coaches, it becomes a clear picture once you really think about it. Everyone says life-changing money, but I think the way we've talked about just kind of the way the portal is and all that. Yes, there's a lot of money to be made there, but everyone's goal here is to make it to the NFL. And I'll say, no matter what you're going to get paid, unless you're Dante Moore from Oregon, you're not going to get rich in college. You can go spend that money pretty quick nowadays. So I think everybody's goal is the NFL, and I think just understanding what everybody's values and goals are, and then once you hash it out and actually talk about, well, half of this is going to Uncle Sam, and then where are you going to put it? Okay, you can maybe buy a house, you can maybe buy a vehicle, you can pay for rent, you can go buy food. I mean, after that, you can spend that money pretty dang quick. So I think just an open line of communication with coaches and your friends and your players is good. And then I think once you assess all that, it becomes pretty clear what decision you need to make.
I'm not arguing with you, but Chase dropped that Uncle Sam line, and half of it goes to the government. But it still is a lot more than whenever you might be getting NIL from South Dakota State. Half of that's going there too. So you know what I mean? It's still, and obviously it's been hard for some guys to turn down, and but clearly you're about other things.
Well, ultimately, a lot of guys want to love South Dakota and want to come back here. So, like I said before, your word and your reputation is important as well. Going and grabbing a few dollars might sound good in the short term, but a lot of us want to come back here and have families here, get jobs here, and I think building them connections and relationships is more important than getting paid.
Sure. Did you lean on Chase at all and have discussions with Chase about this as you were both kind of getting offers?
Yeah, we've talked about it. Him and I have gotten a lot closer the last couple of years, and he's a really good dude to talk to. But there's so many other guys. Logan Green's been good for me. I've been really tight with him since we came in here. Colin McShane, Coleman Coons. There's a lot of guys that are really good to talk to. John Pica, he came from DW. He's as soon as he's came here, I've really been able to lean on him and talk to him. And I think that's just the way it is. I could name 30 more people, but that's just the way it is here. Guys come here and acclimate so quick. And if you buy in that ability to grow friendships and relationships, no one's too good or too bad for you to talk to. Like everybody's tight knit, and then obviously our position coaches and Coach Jackson are just amazing and want what's best for us in terms of not just football players but men as well. So
yeah, I mean, Dan, go ahead. Sorry,
I'm just saying, like this building a great foundation and then a brotherhood, like it's very important. So there is no surprises or confusion, just a strong foundation to lean on.
Yeah, and I talked about that with Dan a lot yesterday, about him having those conversations, and they don't just start with, in his mind, hey, Dan, I got offered X amount of money to go to this place. It starts well before that with establishing a close relationship where you feel like you can trust your coach and go to him and talk to him about that sort of thing. And of course, I have to ask you the big money questions, and other people putting themselves in their shoes, in your shoes or Chase's shoes about that sort of thing. But in both of your cases, and I'll just ask you about you personally, you've already mentioned that, being a man of your word. Did it feel like you just, was there a party that felt like there really wasn't a choice? Not only because you like it here so much and it's something special to you, but because you and Chase were kind of the famous frontline guys once Jimmy left and there's no coaching staff, and you guys had made the decision not to go there with him and to help start somewhat anew with Dan here. Was there any, I put myself in your shoes and go, boy, it'd be tough to turn my back on something like that just a year later.
I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't see. It's not like I felt pressured or burdened in a way, because I was very passionate about helping keep our team together. I think you always have a choice to make in life, and I kind of always go back to Coach Stiegelmeier all the time used to say, make the right decision. And, however people want to interpret it and however people view what's going on in college football and whatever, I just have always kind of leaned on those words, because ultimately Coach Stig gave me an opportunity out of high school that I didn't think was possible. And his foundation that he has grown since the 90s has helped me grow as a man and a person as well. I think everyone has a decision, or everyone can make a choice, and I don't think it's a bad one, whichever you decide. But I do think it just goes back into leaning on the people you love and really care about, and then also how you feel inside. What are you deeply rooted by, your values and your goals and whatnot. So.
And how much this time around? Because again, I'm sure some new offers came at you after this season. They were coming at you before the season in last spring, and again now. But I mean, how much of this is the unfinished business portion? You know, it wasn't it wasn't the season that you guys had hoped it would be, and you get one more crack at it. How much of a part of you staying is that?
Obviously a lot, I think a big thing is me wanting to finish my career out here, finish my degree out here, finish my football career at SDSU with the guys I came in with. I think there's probably 9 of us left in my class that were here when we got here as freshmen. That's a big part as well. But I like this season wasn't what we wanted, and I've talked to Logan about this too, but ultimately, when you don't end up on top of the podium, you feel like your season was not a success. And I do think there's some truth to it. I think there was a lot of learning and growth that happened this year, and I'm super blessed that we were able to learn from that and go through adversity, because nothing in life is easy. But I think being able to go through that this year and then just light a little fire in our gut, there is some unfinished business, and this is why we're coming back to do this thing, because it means a lot to us. It means a lot to the community, means a lot to the university, and it means a heck of a lot to the JFPA and the coaches that invest all their time here. So,
Yeah. I want to ask about the JFPA. I'll write that down. I'll make sure to get that in before we're done. But you did say a lot of learning and growth this past year. What were some of the things that you and some of your teammates learned? But we can start with you personally. What kind of learning and growth did you go through?
I think Coach Bankston helped me develop a lot as a player and a leader, pushing me to work on the finite details, whether it was my first step or my hand placement or my hat placement, all that, and then pushing me to lead as well. Being the vocal guy, trying to hold guys accountable, but also being able to take them aside and be able to slow it down a little bit and really make sure that you make guys understand that you do care about them, and that's what you want, is what's best for them. So I think between him, Coach Jackson, and a lot of my buddies on the team around me, they helped me grow as a player and as a person as well this year. And I think just the team had to go through a lot of adversity, and that wasn't anything new to us, but being able to go through them certain instances throughout the season and be able to lean on each other and then learn and grow from that, I think that can only help us going into next season.
I'll get to some of the adversity here and just to go back to some of the things that happened. And I would feel remiss without asking about Nate White from a player's perspective. How much did that affect? How much did that linger? What was that like to go through as a teammate? Because I went back, I listened before we chatted today, our chat in April. And when I asked some of the new guys that were joining the team this past year, who's like popping at spring practice, and Nate White was the first answer out of your mouth. How large, how heavy was that?
Well, first off, Nate was a great kid, and he was going to be, he already was a phenomenal football player, but getting to meet him, and I don't know if I told you before, but like meeting him, I didn't really know what to expect, and I invited him over to the house for a fish fry, and he was listening to country music and Tom Petty, and we were just able to relate right away, and that was really awesome for me to see a kid from Milwaukee and be able to click with him that quick. But he was kind of a light, I'd say. Like, he always had a smile on his face, and he just kind of was able to attract people because people always wanted to be around him. But I think when he passed away, that was really tough on the team. But I also think it was phenomenal how everybody responded so quickly and was able to lean on each other, and we're able to open up with each other and talk to each other and just be there for everybody. And we talked about the next day, and we are like, Nate wouldn't want us to pout around and hang our heads. Like, we're gonna go finish this work. We're gonna go do this workout. It might be tough on us, but that's what he'd want us to do. And because he loved football and he was so excited for the season. So I think throughout the season, we carried that kind of with a badge of honor. Like, we're going to do this for him, no matter how it goes, no matter how tough it gets. So, I mean, losing football games, losing reps in football is tough, but it kind of puts life into perspective that there are more important things out there than just a game, so.
Yeah. And then certainly a different kind of loss from both a human life and also a football game, but just losing Chase Mason to injury. Obviously, things changed results wise for the team once that happened. But take me back there, and as a good friend, and again, kind of a fellow leader of the players. Explain, as a lineman blocking for him after a 7-0 start, what that was like to go through just with Chase, not necessarily with how it affected the offense. I'd love to hear about that too, but just with Chase, knowing how long he waited, how hard he worked, the things he went through, and then bang, mid-season, and right before a huge game, it happened.
Yeah, it was like you said, it was tough on the offense. It was tough on the team losing such a good leader like that. But he was consistent every day. I knew it was weighing on him and it was hard on him because he felt like he had to be there for the team, and he felt like he was letting us down, which, you have an injury like that, it's tough because you beat yourself up and you can't push it or do anything about it. So I knew that was really tough on him, but he remained constant and leading and helping the younger guys throughout that process. But just being there for everybody, and he handled it like a champ. It was tough on him, and I really felt for him because there's nothing worse than having to sit out and watching guys go out and play when you can't, and you feel like you're letting them down. So that's difficult. But I do think he handled the process the right way, and it was, like I said, I talked about adversity and learning and growth. It was great for the team ultimately to have to go through that for Jack Henry's development. Luke Marble had to play in some games. The offense trying to find different ways to go about and make plays. It's not just a one man show. It's a team game. So we had to. There's a lot of guys that had to step it up. So I think that was good for just everybody to have to go through that and come out on the other side stronger.
What were some of the main issues in that 4-game stretch when you were losing those games?
There's some things going wrong. Like, obviously we had some tough games, but I think ultimately it came down to lack of focus issues because there was a lot of instances where the team didn't beat us, we beat ourselves. Miscommunication, lack of focus errors, lack of discipline. And you rack those up, 1, 2, 3 of those things happen in a game, it can change the entire course of how a game goes. So I think just honing in on those details later through the year and now going into next year is going to be very vital. Just having to really focus, because everybody at this level and the FBS level and even the D2 level, everybody's playing college football for a reason. Everybody's good, everybody's athletic, everybody's strong, all this, all that. It really comes down to discipline and focus, and then executing the assignment that's given to you. So, that's really what it comes down to.
Was it a little harder to focus and communicate compared to the first 7 games because you're kind of having to adjust to in some ways to a different quarterback and maybe to a different offensive scheme or strategy because it was a different quarterback? I mean, was that part of it?
No, I wouldn't say that. Regardless who it is, it's always a next man up mentality. So, just I don't think those were reasons for focus issues. But just you got to treat every game the same, and no game's bigger than the next. So,
yeah. I'm thankful for your time. So I'd love to talk about both the UND and the New Hampshire wins, especially getting Chase back for that New Hampshire win in the playoffs. But the UND win was special. You're able to do it without him. What are your most vivid memories that you always take with you about that game, considering where things had been at coming into that with the 4 straight losses and knowing you might need to win that game to make the playoffs, and then how it unfolded?
yeah, I mean, everyone knew it was do or die at that point, and everyone kind of had a sense going into that game that, hey, we got to leave it all out on the field no matter what happens, because if we lose, this is the last one, and if we win, we buy ourselves another opportunity. So we were in a real do or die situation, and then everyone, like I said, there was adversity in that game. There were some penalties. There was some lack of focus issues. I got kicked out of the game. I had to go sit in the locker room. It was kind of all over the place. But that's college football. But honestly, that game, that's the happiest I've ever been in my life, and I didn't even get to finish it out on the field. Just seeing how our team bonded together and next man up mentality. A lot of guys hadn't even played or had any snaps before that and stepped up. And then Jack Henry made an amazing play. So did Graham Goring. And I got to watch that from the corner. I mean, that's the happiest, most excited I've ever been. So I think when you're able to, like I said before, deeply root yourself into something more than yourself, when you do succeed, you root for each other's success, and that it's just so much more gratifying than just having an individual accomplishment.
What happened on that play that you got kicked out from your perspective?
Oh, I'm not going to get into the weeds of it, but I was just trying to protect Coleman Kuntz, our teammate, and one of their guys was kind of getting a little chippy, a little too close to him, and I was trying to just stay between them, and things got a little chippy. Obviously, some misinterpretations, miscommunications between me and who I got kicked out by, but that's part of it, Life throws you some wrenches, and you just got to take them as you go. So
yeah. So what's the collective feeling and conversation about the 2026 Jackrabbits with some of the guys you've been talking to? I mean, I want to talk more about the season coming up, maybe in the springtime when you've gotten to know some of the players and what you're going to have better. But what's the feeling? What's the sense?
Yeah, everybody's excited to be back. Everybody's busting their butts. Everybody's ready to get back into doing football. Right now we're just doing winter workouts, lifts, runs. We do do some football stuff on the field with our position groups. But I think everybody's excited, and we do got a kind of a distaste in our mouth from how we finished this last season. But right now we're just trying to focus on the little details about being focused, disciplined, giving everything you got, every workout, every time you're doing something, just going 1-0. So
sure,
no one's looking too far ahead. We're just trying to win every day.
For you personally, we'll land the plane with this because I wanted to ask about the JFPA, and what that group means to you and the players. So I'll do that. What does the JFPA mean to you and the players?
Well, they're everything. And I'll first off start by saying Ryan McKnight is the head honcho of that group, and he does an amazing job. And he does it all while balancing 2 other jobs, and he's a professor. honestly easily the best professor I've ever had at South Dakota State.
What
But
class did he teach for you?
he does a lot of law classes.
Wow.
Yeah. So no,
That'd be
he's very good, and he's a leader. On like really, it honestly comes down to him being passionate and being a great leader. But that group as a whole, uh, they're just so selfless and care so much about the program and the players and the coaches and everything they do, whether it's donations, making food, just helping out the program any way they possibly can. It's honestly it's so inspiring to watch how they operate and the things they're willing to do for the guys, and they're a big part of what drives the team and what everybody's why is, because we don't want to let them guys down because they've made such an impact on us and the program throughout the years.
yeah. And then what has Mason McCormick meant to you in your career and still to this day?
Yeah, he really took me under my wing at a young age, and I guess he saw something in me that maybe I didn't even see in myself, and he pushed me as a person and a player, and really helped me grow and develop throughout the years I was here with him. And then now it's kind of grown into a friendship, and me and him are good friends and talk a lot all the time. But I still ask him for advice all the time just because he's super knowledgeable and he's great at what he does. So yeah, he's been very impactful to me and this program as well.
How did he teach you not only maybe to play lineman, but also to lead? In what ways did he teach you to be a leader?
I think it started with just doing everything the right way. And if you're going to do something, do it 100%, or else there's no reason to do it at all. So just watching his passion and work ethic really inspired me and made me want to be like that. So it kind of goes to knowing the way, going the way, but showing the way as well. So that that really helped me throughout my career.
And he certainly is an inspiration that you can be a 605 Hog, make it to the NFL, thrive in the NFL. I mean, I don't know if you were watching that Steelers-Ravens game that the Steelers needed to win just to get in the playoffs. But like on one of I think the winning touchdown or the touchdown to get in overtime, whatever it was.
Yeah, he made a heck of a block.
Collinsworth zeroed in on him.
Yep.
That was pretty sweet. For you, I mean, you've stated before, obviously you'd love to play in the NFL. You think obviously you can make it from SDSU. Where do you feel like you are at with that? With 1 year to go in college, 1 year to continue to quote unquote raise your draft stock. What do you need to work on? What's your assessment of yourself as an offensive lineman?
Well, obviously I need to develop more. And that's what I try and carry with me every day, is just try and improve each day in everything I do. I think in pass pro, I really need to work on, especially in 2-minute drills, just making sure my posture's good and not leaning and lunging for punches. You can get excited at times, get tired, and you want to lunge into a punch. So I want to really work on refining my pass pro, independent hands, being square, really quieting my upper body all the time. And then in the run game, I just want to dominate more one-on-one run blocks, whether it's inside zone, power, climbing up to the second level, whatever it is. I want to dominate every rep I can, and just prove to the guy across from me that he can't hang with me. So I think putting that stuff on film and just improving on the little things, that goes to hat placement, footwork, hand placement. Little things is what helps you grow, and when you're able to do that. But I think working on the little details and just having that improvement mindset, just knowing you haven't ever made it, can help me get there.
We'll end it on maybe the toughest question of the whole discussion that I'll ask you. What's your favorite Tom Petty song? There's so many ones to choose from.
Oh God.
I'm sure you've been asked this before. Anybody who likes Tom Petty's asked about how.
Yeah, I don't know. God, I'll just say I like them all. I like them all.
Oh, come on. Don't be a politician. Is there anyone that's most meaningful to you?
No, he's a good singer. I like them all.
All right, Quentin, appreciate your time. 1 full hour. We're thrilled to have you back. We're thrilled to watch you and see what becomes of the 2026 Jackrabbits. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Stay right there. That's Quinten Christensen, and that's it for today's Happy Hour.
You need anything else, John?
No, I think I'm good, Greg. I think I'm going to tap out.
All right. Have a good night.